In this ArcMap demonstration, we're going to show how to edit a polygon layer, or how to create a new polygon in a layer. To begin with, we have a polygon layer here in the table of contents. It's empty, there's no data in there. We're going to create data in it or build it. And what we're going to do in this layer is we're going to outline. And so in this layer we're going to outline a burn that exists over in this area, and to determine where that burn is, we're going to turn on this SID satellite image. And if we look at the burn, the area here, the dark areas that you see here are unburnt, and this lighter area in here is burnt. So we're going to use that to determine the boundary of our fire. So we need to turn editing on. We're going to turn it on for this junk polygon layer. Choose edit features, start editing, and we'll just ignore this warning. And we need to come up here and turn on our tools. Now I haven't edited this one before, so I'm going to have to actually create a template for it. So we'll go new template, go finish, and we'll close that and click on it, and we now have this polygon tool that we can use. So we'll click it and we'll start to draw. I'm going to start right at the highway here, and I'm just going to estimate where the burn is here, and I can come over here and zoom in and then come back to my polygon tool. Now, I want to perfectly follow this trapping lake layer here, and in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the trace tool. And in order to use, which is down here, alright, this trace tool. But in order to use it, I have to select the polygon which I am going to trace. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to select the lake here, which is in the trapping lake layer. And if you're having trouble selecting that, you might want to check your list by selection to make sure that in fact that layer is selected. Well, here it says it's selected, and that it is contained in at least in the selectable layers, which it is. So I'll change the table of contents back. And so now, like I said, I'm going to use that trace tool. So come back here. We want to trace. So we'll click where we want to start to trace, and we also want to, I have my snapping on here, we want to snap to maybe before I do that, I'll turn on my snapping toolbar, and I'm going to want to snap not necessarily to the vertex. I'll take that off. Not necessarily to the end or to the specific point. I want to snap to the edge of the lake. I think I want to zoom in a bit more before I begin to do this. And so now I'll go back to my tool down here, and you can see I'm now snapped onto the edge there. I'll click once, and then without clicking again, I'm just going to move my cursor around the boundary here. Oops, I forgot to grab the edge, the trace tool again. Alright, now we're tracing. You can tell that by that little window that opened up beforehand. and I just drag it around the boundary of the lake. Till I get to a point where I meet my fire boundary again. So I'm going to click a point there, and we'll go back to line segments and start going across the burn again, and we'll zoom out a bit and keep on going till again we get to a lake where I would trace along the polygon layer here again. I'm not going to do it again, I've already demonstrated that, but we'll demonstrate some other tools here for demonstration purposes. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom right out here. I'm going to finish off this polygon even though I haven't gone around the fire yet. I'm going to click one more time, then I'm going to choose Finish Sketch, and we're now done. Now I'm going to open up, right mouse click on the layer and open up the attribute table. And we know you can see the highlighted one is the selected layer. We're going to stop editing for the meantime, so I'm going to go Editor, Stop Editing. I'm going to choose to save my edits. Now, in this layer here, I'm just going to right mouse click the properties on it. I'm going to go to Display. I'm going to choose to make it 50% transparent. Click OK. And now I can see this aerial photo image underneath. Alright, now that I have editing off, I have the one polygon there. I want to add some fields here. So I'm going to add one field, and I'm going to call it the number of hectares. Oops. And I'm going to make it, it's not an integer, but I'm going to make it a double or a number with a decimal point. The precision is the number of characters including the decimal point itself. So we'll type in 15 here. And for the scale, that's the number of decimal places. I'll go to the 1/10 of a hectare, so 1 decimal point. Click OK. I now have this new field here. We're going to add one more. And we're going to call it year. We're going to make it a date field. Or I'll tell you what, let's go with long integer, and we'll make it 4 characters wide, because a year needs 4 characters, and hit OK. And we'll add one more field. And we'll call it comment. And we'll make it a text field, and we'll make it 35 characters wide. Alright, so now we have 3 new fields in here. We're going to turn editing back on so we can populate some of these for this new feature. So we'll go back to, whoops, we'll just go right mouse click the layer, go edit features, start editing. We'll ignore the warning. And we'll come in here, and under the year we're going to put, we'll put 1989 because that's the year it was burnt. And under comment we're going to put that it was a wildfire. Oops. Or no, you know, I'm going to put down here it's only, whoops, only portion of the fire, because because it's not the whole fire. And under hectares, I'm going to right mouse click that field and go calculate geometry area here, click OK. Now it didn't allow me to choose units. I know that the units here are meters, so I'm just going to redo this. Under field calculator, I'm going to say hectares equals my hectares divided by 10,000 and hit OK. So I'm going to take the original number, divide that by 10,000 and give me the hectares. And now I have them. Alright, I'm going to show you another tool now. Or leave the table open here. We're going to go back to, well, I guess we have editing on. So I'm going to, instead of the polygon tool, I'm going to use the auto complete polygon tool. And so I'm going to come snap to the edge here. And I'm going to draw off here. And snap over here. And then I'm going to come back to my, let's get this thing out of the way. I'm going to come back over here to the edge. And I'm going to double click here. And it auto completes that polygon. I didn't have to finish this line here because it's a shared line. And if I had tried to make the line, if I had to try and draw the line along here, there's a chance I might leave a gap or have some overlapping of those lines. So the autocomplete polygon is the better way to do that, so I don't end up with that problem. And you can see now I have another field down here. I can go and do the calculations for those as well if I wanted to. And we're done. Oh, I guess before I leave I should turn editing off. So stop editing, save my edits, yes. Now we're done.